Hey folks, so I went to Hamburg and Norway over the last 9 days and came back, and I've been posting a bit about what the experience was like, particularly the fact that they lead with human dignity and that they see success as helping people to reintegrate successfully into society. Then there are other elements like the actual plant, what their prisons look like. All of their prisons are not as amazing as some of the ones that I posted, but many of them are, and they're committed to facilities that match as much as possible what it would be like to return to society, because they believe that when people return to society, they should return successfully, and they shouldn't be confused about how to do things like grocery shop, for instance. I went to the commissary at one facility, and you literally go in and you shop and you bring it to the cash register and you cash out. The officers get paid well. Correction officer positions are super competitive. They have hundreds of applications for every role that's open. These are societies that generally take care of their citizens by providing health care and housing and education and those sort of things. So some of that's just reflected in how they run their prison system. So the biggest pushback I've been getting from people is, well, that's not America. We're racist. We had a history of slavery and racism and systemic racism that gets in the way of us ever doing anything like that. And I'd be the last person to suggest that all of that is not true. However, what I will say, particularly to the people who are like all or none, because I remember when I did the work to close Rikers, they were folks who were like, unless you're going to get rid of every cell in New York, you're the enemy. And this is how the left tends to eat its young, because, when I was at Rikers, there were 22,000 people. The facility is only meant to hold a bit over 14,000. When we started the campaign, there were over 10,000. 2 years later, they were less than 6,000. During COVID, there was less than 3,800. If that's not a step towards abolition, I don't know what is. And then the other thing people say is, well, that's a monolithic society. It's all white people in prison. That's just dumb shit. Like, where are you going to have black people in a country and not have black people in prison? That's just dumb shit. So they have people of color in their prison. They have black and brown people in their prison. And while they may not have the same history of racism that tends to get in the way of white people seeing black people as equals in this country, they do hate their immigrants. Many of the white people there hate the fact that they have immigrants. And immigrant might be a soft name for people of color. Take it as you will. But my point is larger than that. My point is that they still treat people in prison with human dignity. When they put people in the box, which they rarely do, they don't see it as punishment. They try to do it for the shortest time possible. And in many places, 14 days is the max. In terms of their sentences, in Norway, 21 years is the max. They do have a provision for some of the most serious cases to hold them for 5 years at a time after their time is completed, but they rarely ever do it. In fact, the worst terrorists in Norway got a 21-year sentence. The correction officers are trained, unlike our correction officers who get training for about 6 weeks. In Norway, their correction officers train for a couple of years. And because they don't use weapons in the facility, all they have is the button to press. They don't even have a stick. Therefore, they learn self-defense, and they learn de-escalation tactics to try to make sure that they have the least amount of times when they're being attacked. Having said that, I'm not a fucking idiot. There's still attacks in prison. There's still, people in prison who fight each other. There's still correction officers who get attacked. The warden of one prison, I had dinner with him, and he told me someone tried to stab him in the neck just a few weeks ago. So, don't play me for a fucking idiot. And at the same time, cut the fucking dumbass fucking progressive bullshit. It's like all or nothing. All or nothing? Get the fuck out of here. That's like saying we could get rid of mass incarceration, but first we got to we got to end racism. That's the kind of bullshit rhetoric that you get from the progressive left that gets in the way of progress. Fuck out of here. While you're sitting there, on your high fucking ideological horse, There's people fucking rotting away in prison in the United States that's looking for some sort of fucking relief. And you know what? Even if we took 10% of what Norway has, 10% of what Hamburg has, even if we took only human fucking dignity, I'll take that. And I would bet that a lot of people I know who I left sitting in prison would do so too. So I hope this video has been informative. I hope it helps you understand my positioning and why I am posting things about this model. And if it doesn't, go fuck yourself.